You for tuning in to another episode on the Scouse Oracle. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking more about the Crime and Policing Bill and how I feel it could connect with the digital ID. Now, I have gave a lot of information already. If you have been following, please hit that subscribe button. I think around 85% haven't yet hit the subscribe button but are watching. And it would mean the world to me if you are able to just hit that button and subscribe. I have already submitted my Freedom of Information requests to the government, and I'll let you know to what departments and why I feel that transparency would matter. You see, I'm going into discussing the new bill that they've introduced, the amendment to the Crime and Policing Bill. So the changes make it a criminal offence to protest outside the homes of MPs, councillors or judges and have penalties for up to 6 months. Now, I think we can all agree that when it comes to any type of protest, it's always peacefully protesting. So to bring the laws in and the amendment, one must ask the question as to why now? The government says it's to protect democracy and the safety of the public servants. So at the same time, we've got other departments rapidly expanding the digital identity programmes. The systems that use the biometrics, the face matching and online verification to confirm who you are across government services. So separately, each of them can look justified. Policing wants to know who's in the crowd. The digital services want to know who's online. But together, they raise the question. And I'm all about asking them questions. And I have submitted Freedom of Information requests. I will go into detail, and I'll go into detail regarding the framework I've found. I am all about joining the dots, looking at the bigger picture, looking about what's hidden in plain sight. If you've been following me now for a while, you'll know that kind of style in which I'm putting it across. I always try and keep my views out of it, not jump the gun and go too far down the line, bring it back to what we know now. So we've got a national framework allowing every police force in England and Wales to buy real-time facial recognition software from suppliers such as NEC, Motorola, Capita, and it scans live CCTV feeds and matches faces against watch lists, and then it alerts officers when a match is found. So that is under the Live Facial Recognition Framework, BlueLight Commercial 2025 to 2029. Now, when I found this and why I feel it matters, is this technology can identify individuals in a crowd. So even if they've done nothing wrong, this technology can identify an individual. We don't know how the watch lists are created, who approves the watch lists, or how long the footage is stored. So I've already submitted my Freedom of Information request, and I have asked who is currently using this framework and for what purpose. I've worded it in a way, but this is for layman terms. Copies of any data protection impact assessment, because we love them. I haven't got many, but I'm trying. Or policy papers referencing protests, marches or public events, and any guidance on how watch lists are built and how they're approved. And now, If you can go on to find attender service notice, the ID is 014675 2025. Got the live facial recognition software framework, BlueLight Commercial. So that's the first one. That's the first request that I've sent. Now, the second framework that I found was the Precise Policing Phase 2 Metropolitan Police Dynamic Market. That was a £25 million innovation marketplace, meaning it was allowing the Met Police to purchase AI video analytics, data integration tools, public order planning systems, and situational awareness dashboards. It joins CCTV, drones, phones, and maps to manage crowds in real time. Now, why this matters and why I feel it matters is this system is the glue that could connect facial recognition feeds to wider government databases. So if that bridge was ever built, it could turn someone flagged on camera into someone identified by name, like that. You see where it could go? But we're sticking with what we know and asking questions when we don't know. So, of course, I've submitted a Freedom of Information request to the Metropolitan Police, and I have asked for a list of suppliers within Precise Policing Phase 2, technical documents showing which data sources it connects to, any data protection impact assessments or privacy reviews mentioning biometric or identity data, and any trials involving the Home Office or the DSIT. So where I found this was on Find Attender Service. The ID number 05418 2025, Precise Policing Phase 2 Dynamic Market, Metropolitan Police. Now, the next one, I have spoken about this before in my previous post in regards to the digital ID. So we've got the identity fraud check. The Department for Science and Innovation and Technology, which is part of the gov.uk One Login programme, and I've spoken about that before, where the government is seeking suppliers to verify identity by checking email, phone and digital footprint data to detect fraud. So it's appearing as a security feature, and why I feel it matters is it's building up a web of personal identifiers that could, in theory, be compared with policing data if legal frameworks change. So I've submitted my Freedom of Information request to the DSIT, and I have asked whether this service can share cross-match identity data, law enforcement, immigration or fraud, prevention bodies beyond One Login itself, copies of any internal assessments or meetings in minutes, such as sharing, and related data protection impact assessments. Sometimes I dream of these data protection impact assessments. I will try and stay just on this topic, in case this might just be the first video that you've seen or come across of me. So I'll try and stay within the scope of what I'm discussing. The Freedom of Information request is with the tender notice. So as I say, for the identity fraud check. And why it matters is this pilot proves the Home Office already has a functioning biometric verification pipeline. If connected to broader ID systems, it could allow identification of people beyond immigration checks. So what's happened is the Home Office have put out a genetic identity verification service. What I'll do as well is I'll list all these in the bio caption. So the ID numbers will be there, so you can go and have a look for yourself. So we've got the generic identity verification service. So the Home Office version of the One Login. So it's a pilot using passport chip scanning, face matching and liveness detection for immigration and visa purposes. So that's what I was saying. If the pilot proves the Home Office already has a functioning biometric pipeline, so it's there to be able to connect to broader services. So if you've been following me, you'll see before that the framework, the pipeline is being built, and then the foundation, before we even know how all the pipes are going to be connected, they're rolling out a foundation and building walls, and we're not sure how this is all going to come together, because they're able to keep doing it because they're not naming this one thing, which is this is all going to happen, but we're passing it slowly. Because if you can imagine what is happening now, if we knew where it was going to go and we had the data protection impact assessments and the risks, which I believe I am pointing out some of the risks in terms of if it can all join, then this is what could happen. If we could see them risks, we'd be more aware and we'd have a say. But if they're slowly bringing it in and slowly changing things under the guise, and I'm not sure how much I can say, but under the guise of things, then before we know it, we're getting to a point and we're like, how did this happen? So at least in knowing this, we are seeing it. We're seeing how it can. So in other words, we're building our own data protection impact assessment. So in my freedom of information request in regards to the generic identity verification service, I have asked for any documents describing any link between this and the policing systems, such as the strategic facial matcher, of course the data protection impact assessments, and sharing agreements covering the data flow. And that is on fine to tender. That's ID 069812-2025. You see, the policing tenders build the ability to see people in a crowd. So that's just one, separate to the digital identity tenders, but they build the ability to know exactly who these people are. So if the infrastructure overlaps, which I can't tell you that it will, I can't tell you that it's been proven because I've yet to find that overlap. That's why I'm submitting the freedom of information requests, and sometimes even what they don't tell us tells us. Silence can sometimes speak louder, and that is always why I build paper trails, and it creates the technical power to connect a live face to a verified ID in real time. And maybe these freedom of information requests, we could find something within them that would show a link. And I know what is out there. I am on social media. I am fully aware of what is being said. But I feel as though, and I'll always say it, it's very important to have the clarity within the noise, because so often we're within the noise. And if we can just have that clarity and transparency, you feel more empowered because you kind of know what's going on. It's not a feeling of hopelessness. So, of course, I will share all the requests all the responses that I get back. As always, if I find anything further, I will update as always. And if you can hit that subscribe button, I would appreciate it.